Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats because what just went down inside the cold steel walls of one of the country's most notorious prisons is nothing short of explosive. King Harris, yes, the very same name that's made headlines for chaos, controversy, and questionable decisions, decided that 5 years behind bars was just a suggestion, and apparently rules are for other people. Can you imagine the audacity? A man handcuffed by law, thinking he can outsmart an entire prison system. Guards scrambled, alarms blared, and in what insiders are already calling a brutal showdown, pandemonium erupted like you've never seen. Now, was this a desperate bid for freedom or a reckless stunt to prove a point? And how on earth does a system allow someone this bold to even make a move? Social media is ablaze. Public opinions are flying faster than a viral TikTok, and anonymous sources are spilling secrets that make this story stranger than fiction. Every second counts. Every leaked whisper adds fuel to the fire. And what you're about to witness isn't just a prison break. It's a masterclass in chaos, confrontation, and scandal. Buckle up, because the King Harris prison saga has officially detonated, and nothing will ever be the same. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a story that's already breaking the internet before it's even had a chance to breathe. Yes, we're talking about King Harris, the man whose name alone sparks heated debates, viral memes, and now a full-blown prison saga that has everyone questioning reality. Some call him fearless, others they call him reckless, audacious, maybe even downright crazy. But one thing is undeniable. When King Harris moves, chaos follows. Let's set the stage. 5 years behind bars. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. For someone like King Harris, prison isn't a place, it's a stage. A stage for power, plays dominance, and a dash of sheer madness. Past incidents have already cemented his reputation. Fights with inmates, explosive arguments with prison staff, and rumors of inside deals that no one outside could even imagine. Remember the laundry room incident from 2 years ago? Sources whispered that Harris had somehow orchestrated a lockdown, using nothing but smuggled contraband and charm. Guards were baffled, inmates were terrified, and social media, well, it went absolutely wild. That episode alone earned him a title some still whisper with awe, the untouchable. And now here we are, the infamous 5-year sentence. The walls closing in, the frustration building. You'd think this would be the kind of moment where a person reflects, recalibrates, maybe even repents. Not King Harris. No. He looked at that sentence and apparently thought rules. Never heard of them. It was audacity in its purest rast form, and the first whispers began circulating. The second he stepped into the common area of the maximum security wing, he was plotting. Insider sources, let's call them unnamed yet very nervous, have reported that Harris spent days observing, calculating, and yes, even testing the patience of guards who had no clue what storm was about to hit. Security cameras caught him pacing, looking around, pretending to read books. But the truth was far more sinister. The man was mapping, plotting, planning a move that would not only shock the prison staff, but send ripples across social media faster than you can say viral sensation. But hold on, before we get too deep into the plan, let's talk about the man himself. King Harris isn't just your average inmate. This is a man who thrives on attention, drama, and controversy. His past is dotted with incidents that seem ripped straight out of a Hollywood screenplay. From bribing minor officials to orchestrating prison-wide stunts that leave authorities scrambling, Harris has made a career, if you could call it that, of turning confinement into spectacle. People outside the prison walls don't just watch his antics, they live for them. His Instagram, hushed whispers, and viral clips. His Twitter, a forum for speculation, outrage, and a bizarre kind of admiration. The man is a storm, And storms don't follow rules, they break them. Now let's rewind for a second. Think about the psychology here. 5 years, locked away from the world, surrounded by rules, regulations, and people who absolutely do not want you to leave. Most would feel cornered, defeated. But King Harris, he saw it as a challenge, a game. And in true Harris fashion, he didn't just aim for an escape. He aimed to make a statement that said, I am still in control, even when the system thinks it has me. According to sources who spoke on the condition of extreme anonymity, Harris had been preparing for this for weeks. Every routine, every guard rotation, every blind spot memorized. Insider reports hint at small manipulations in the schedule, subtle distractions, and even the cooperation of a few inmates who owe him favors, knowingly or unknowingly. The audacity is staggering, the planning meticulous, and the sheer nerve off the charts. This wasn't desperation, this wasn't fear, this was calculated, chaotic genius at work. And then the whispers started spreading beyond the prison walls. Social media, as you'd expect, went into meltdown. Clips of Harris pacing, subtle movements, and suspicious gestures went viral within minutes. Reddit threads exploded, YouTube speculation channels lit up, and Twitter, well, let's just say, the hashtag Charles Kinger's escape attempt was trending before breakfast. Fans of chaos celebrated, critics panicked, and somewhere in the middle, the authorities were scrambling, trying to figure out how a man like Harris could think he had a shot at success. But here's the kicker. When the moment finally arrived, the entire scene inside the prison shifted. Guards who had thought they were in control were suddenly facing a situation that was spiraling out of the ordinary. Panic, yes. Confusion, absolutely. But chaos is a word that doesn't even begin to capture what happened. And in true GSV style, anonymous sources have described the initial moments as like watching a storm, trapped in a cage. Harris made his move and all hell broke loose. Yet, even before we dive into the actual escape attempt, we need to pause and reflect on the implications. King Harris isn't just an inmate, he's a cultural phenomenon. Every action he takes reverberates through social media, news outlets, and the collective consciousness of people who live for scandal. When he moves, narratives are rewritten. When he defies expectations, legends are born. And make no mistake, what happened next wouldn't just be a simple clash in a prison corridor. It would be a spectacle, a viral masterpiece, and a social media frenzy all rolled into one. So, here's what we know so far, ladies and gentlemen. The man has a notorious reputation, a history of defying authority, and a meticulously crafted plan that shows both brilliance and recklessness. The prison walls intended to confine him have now become the stage for a drama that's about to explode. And while authorities prepare their statements, social media continues to speculate. Was this an actual escape attempt or a stunt designed purely for attention? The answer, dear viewers, is probably somewhere in between. And that's what makes this story so irresistible. And now, as whispers turn into murmurs, and murmurs into chaos, the stage is set. The cameras were rolling, the guards were ready, or so they thought. And in just a few moments, the carefully laid plans, the tension, and the audacity of King Harris would collide in a way that no one inside, and certainly no one outside, would forget. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to witness in part 2 is not just a fight. It's a brutal, chaotic, and viral spectacle that will make headlines, dominate social feeds, and leave everyone questioning the limits of audacity. Stay tuned, because the story of King Harris's prison chaos is only getting started. And the fallout is going to be legendary. The tension inside the prison hit its peak the moment King Harris made his move. This wasn't a simple shuffle down a corridor. It was a full-blown power play. Guards. It was a full-blown power play. Guards scrambled. Radios blared, and the entire wing became a chaotic battleground. According to anonymous insiders, Harris moved with unexpected speed, forcing several officers into immediate confrontation. The result, a brutal hand-to-hand clash that had everyone questioning the security protocols of this supposedly maximum security facility. Sources claim Harris used every ounce of leverage and intimidation he could muster. Objects were thrown, shouts echoed, and one officer reportedly got pinned against a wall in what witnesses described as pure cinematic chaos. Social media immediately erupted with speculation. Clips from security cameras began leaking online within hours, blurry but unmistakably showing the violence. Comment sections exploded, some cheering his audacity, others condemning the lawlessness. A viral debate ignited. Hero or menace? Beyond the fight itself, what's more scandalous is how Harris allegedly manipulated his surroundings. Inside reports suggest he had orchestrated subtle distractions over the previous days. Small power outages, delayed patrols, and even diversion tactics involving other inmates. One source speaking anonymously revealed, he treats the prison like a chessboard. Every move calculated, every opponent misled. It wasn't just a fight, it was strategy, spectacle, and sheer audacity rolled into one. Public reaction didn't stop online. News outlets scrambled for headlines, framing Harris as either a fearless mastermind or a reckless criminal. Local politicians weighed in, some criticizing prison security, others decrying the glorification of criminal antics. Meanwhile, meme pages had a field day. Within hours, King Harris chaos was trending across platforms. Fans of Scandal praised his fearless spirit, while critics pointed out the dangers of glorifying violence and confinement. The divide was stark, the reactions extreme. Further investigation into Harris's background provides a deeper understanding of why this event feels almost inevitable. Past incidents reveal a consistent pattern: audacious risk-taking, manipulation of authority, and a knack for turning dangerous situations into personal narratives of infamy. From smuggling contraband to orchestrating fights as leverage, Harris has always found ways to bend the system. This latest incident, another masterstroke of calculated chaos. Anonymous reports also reveal that Harris has a network inside the prison, fellow inmates reportedly loyal to him or indebted for favor played small but crucial roles during the escape attempt. Doors opened, distractions occurred, and timing was synchronized to perfection, or as close to perfection as human error allows. Observers outside were stunned. Could a single man really orchestrate such a spectacle behind high security walls? According to leaked testimonies, yes, Harris had done it before, and now he'd done it again. Authorities predictably scrambled damage control. Statements were released emphasizing the bravery of guards and the failure of Harris's plan. But insiders say there was panic behind closed doors. Security experts analyzed the footage, noting gaps in protocols, delayed responses, and the sheer audacity of Harris's maneuvers. Some even compared it to scenes from action films. Except, this was real, raw, and happening under official supervision. Meanwhile, online forums dissected every frame of leaked footage. Frame-by-frame analyses revealed micro moments of chaos, guards hesitating, Harris pushing boundaries, and moments where victories seemed almost within reach. Discussion threads exploded with hot takes, theories, and speculation. Was this a desperate bid for freedom, or a power display meant to cement Harris's infamy inside the prison hierarchy? Opinions were split, passions ignited. The public also began questioning the prison system itself. How could one man, already on high alert, create such disorder? Analysts and commentators pointed fingers at training protocols, understaffed wings, and security complacency. Political commentators jumped on the narrative, citing this as proof of systemic failure. Meanwhile, social media users crafted a mix of memes, dramatic reenactments, and viral countdowns, all amplifying the chaos. Harris, in effect, had hijacked public discourse without leaving his cell. And the fallout wasn't just online. Internal memos leaked to investigative channels suggested temporary lockdowns, staff reassignments, and emergency reviews of inmate movement policies. Anonymous whistleblowers even hinted at disciplinary actions against officers caught off guard during the incident. The prison, once considered a controlled environment, now looked like a storm zone, captured on grainy cameras, viral clips, and eyewitness accounts. At the heart of it, Harris's audacity revealed something unsettling. A system that prides itself on control can still be manipulated by sheer cunning and nerve. And as the fight footage made its way online, analysts began to weigh in on the psychological dimension. Was Harris's move purely strategic, or did it stem from a psychological need for attention, dominance, and notoriety? Experts disagreed, but all agreed on one thing. He had created a spectacle that no one inside or outside the walls could ignore. Public outrage, fascination, and meme culture combined to make this story unforgettable. Commentary videos, podcasts, and news segments dissected every twist, every shove, and every defensive move by the guards. One viral clip even showed Harris's subtle gestures, interpreted by some as a calculated taunt, proof of his fearless confidence. Online polls were split. Hero, menace, or something in between. Inside the prison, reactions were equally dramatic. Fellow inmates reportedly watched in awe, admiration, or fear. The guards, initially focused on containment, had to quickly adapt to a scenario that spiraled far beyond a normal incident. And Harris. Sources say he maintained composure, capitalizing on the chaos like a maestro conducting a symphony of pandemonium. As social media trends rose, political debates flared, and memes multiplied, the question everyone was asking became, what next? Would there be investigations, punishments, policy overhauls, or was this just another chapter in the ongoing saga of a man who has repeatedly demonstrated that chaos is his domain? And here's where Part 2 hands the baton to Part 3. The fight is over, the footage is out, the world is watching, and yet the story isn't finished. The consequences, legal implications, and public fallout are just beginning to unfold. The narrative has reached a tipping point where speculation runs wild. Authorities scramble, and social media amplifies every reaction. Part 3 will dive into the fallout and consequences from potential legal action, government investigations, and resignations to viral public backlash and media frenzy, painting the full picture of the aftermath of King Harris's audacious, chaotic, and now legendary prison move. The dust has barely settled, but the reverberations of King Harris's chaotic prison clash are already shaking systems, reputations, and social media alike. Authorities are scrambling! Public outrage is at a fever pitch, and viral commentary is exploding faster than anyone could have predicted. This wasn't just an escape attempt. It was a seismic event, a spectacle that exposed cracks in the prison system, and the kind of scandal that makes headlines for weeks. First, the legal implications. According to leaked insider reports, Harris now faces an additional stack of charges: attempted escape, assault on prison staff, instigating violence, and several classified offences that sources are whispering about but won't confirm publicly. Legal analysts are already predicting a grueling court battle, extended sentencing, and possibly federal oversight on this particular wing of the prison. One source speaking under strict anonymity commented, if anyone else had tried this, it would have been swept under the rug. But Harris, he turns it into a viral event, and suddenly the system has no choice but to respond. Meanwhile, public backlash continues to escalate. Social media feeds are filled with debates, some praising his audacity, some condemning the violence, and many more speculating on how he managed to orchestrate such chaos from behind bars. Every news outlet covering the story seems to have a slightly different take, but one thing is consistent. The term King Harris now trends with words like brutal, chaotic, and unbelievable. Meme accounts are in overdrive. Politicians are weighing in, and discussion panels are dissecting every second of the leaked footage. Inside the prison, the consequences are equally severe. Sources claim that multiple guards are under internal review for failing to contain the situation efficiently, while Harris himself has been moved to a high-security isolation wing, designed for inmates considered highly disruptive. Inmates who were previously allied with him are being monitored more closely, and the administration is implementing new protocols to prevent any repeat of the pandemonium. Some staff members speaking off the record describe the event as like a live-action thriller, but with very real consequences. Financial fallout isn't far behind. Reports indicate that the prison system may be forced to implement expensive security upgrades, including additional surveillance, personnel, and emergency protocols. Critics are pointing out that Harris's actions have cost taxpayers millions, all while highlighting vulnerabilities that should have been addressed years ago. It's a scenario that merges audacity with accountability, creating a perfect storm of scandal. Public opinion remains sharply divided. Some see Harris as a fearless rebel, a man unafraid to challenge an overly rigid system. Others see him as a dangerous manipulator, glorified by social media at the expense of real-world safety. Talk shows, podcasts, and investigative channels are capitalizing on the controversy, dissecting every detail from his initial pacing in the common area to the precise moment guards physically engage with him. Analysts are debating whether Harris's notoriety will grow exponentially, or if this audacious move will finally backfire, ending his already precarious public image. Adding to the chaos, political figures have jumped into the fray. Some are calling for immediate federal investigations into prison security, citing Harris's audacious move as proof of systemic failure. Others are criticizing the media for glorifying criminal antics and fear that viral footage of Harris's clash could inspire copycats. The dialogue is heated, polarizing, and trending. Anonymous political insiders suggest emergency meetings are being convened to address both security lapses and the public relations nightmare. Meanwhile, online analysts have begun to piece together Harris's master plan with step-by-step breakdowns of how he allegedly timed movements, distracted guards, and maximized chaos. YouTube channels have created what-if scenarios, Twitter threads are predicting next moves, and forums are debating the psychological profile of a man who can turn incarceration into viral theater. It's no exaggeration to say that King Harris has become a case study in audacity, chaos, and the power of digital attention. The human element cannot be ignored. Guards involved in the clash reportedly suffered minor injuries, but the psychological impact is still being assessed. Several officers have requested temporary reassignment, citing extreme stress from being part of a viral spectacle they had no real control over. Meanwhile, Harris himself seems unfazed, reportedly smirking at the unfolding chaos from his isolation cell, fully aware that every move has amplified his notoriety and the viral effect exponential. Every leaked clip, every news headline, every social media post has contributed to the growing legend of Harris's prison saga. Within hours, hashtags were trending globally, memes were circulating, and opinionated commentary flooded every platform. Analysts point out that rarely does a single inmate manage to dominate discourse across news, politics, social media, and public imagination simultaneously. But Harris has done it. But let's not forget the suspense. Authorities are under pressure. Legal experts are scrutinizing every move. And the public is watching every development like a high-stakes thriller. Will Harris face additional sentencing? Will systemic reforms be implemented? Will viral commentary continue to shape public perception in ways that impact policy and prison management? These questions remain open, fueling discussions, debates, and the endless cycle of viral speculation. In summary, the consequences are already materializing. Additional legal jeopardy for Harris, internal chaos for prison staff, financial costs for security upgrades, public outrage, viral social media debates, and political scrutiny. And yet through all this, Harris's reputation, whether admired, feared, or despised, has reached unprecedented heights. The audacity, the chaos, the sheer spectacle of his actions have ensured that this story will be dissected, debated, and remembered for a long time. The lesson: never underestimate the power of audacity, combined with digital amplification. A single well-timed act of chaos, executed with confidence and a touch of cunning, can send shockwaves far beyond physical walls. And in Harris's case, the walls of the prison were just the beginning. Now the final question looms. What happens next? Will the authorities regain control? Will Harris's actions inspire similar stunts or deter others from challenging the system? And perhaps most provocatively, what does this say about a world where viral notoriety can amplify even the most dangerous acts? The story of King Harris doesn't end with a failed escape or a brutal fight. It continues in headlines, social media feeds, leaked clips, and ongoing investigations. The chaos he unleashed has consequences, legal, social, and digital, that will echo far beyond the prison walls. And while authorities scramble to contain the fallout, one thing is clear: King Harris has redefined audacity, chaos, and viral infamy in one spectacular act. The narrative is still unfolding. The investigations will continue. The public will debate, meme, and speculate. And Harris, he sits at the center of it all. The epicenter of scandal, chaos, and viral fame. The chaos has settled for now. But the story of King Harris's audacious prison clash isn't just a tale of violence or a daring escape attempt. It's a reminder that audacity, cunning, and sheer nerve can shake systems, dominate headlines, and turn ordinary events into viral spectacles. What drives a man like Harris? Fear, fame, or an unstoppable desire to prove that even walls, rules, and authority figures are no match for someone determined to make a statement? Now the question falls to you. What would you do in a situation like this? Would you play it safe, follow the rules, and wait out the sentence quietly? Or would you, like Harris, throw caution to the wind, embrace chaos, and risk everything for a moment of infamy? Think about it, because whether you admire him or condemn him, there's no denying the impact, the spectacle, and the viral storm he has unleashed. And here's where you come in. Gossip Spill Vibe is your front row seat to every shocking move, every scandal, and every unbelievable twist. We dig into the chaos others ignore. We expose the drama the headlines can't capture. And we keep you closer to the story than anyone else. Your reactions, your opinions, your theories, they matter. This isn't just content, it's conversation, it's controversy, it's culture in real time. So, smash that like button if Harris's audacity left you speechless. Comment below, do you think he's a fearless mastermind or a reckless criminal? And don't forget to subscribe to Gossip Spill Vibe to catch every explosive moment as it happens. The story isn't over. The chaos isn't finished. And trust me, next time it's going to be even bigger, even crazier, and even more impossible to ignore. Stay tuned, because with Gossip Spill Vibe, the scandal never sleeps. The scandal never sleeps.